messing with you. Just think about what we've been doing before. I gotta know, girl, if you want us some more. 'Cause we are lovers, not friends. Don't get it twisted, I'm your man. Oh girl, it's clear. It seems like you can't get enough, See, this ain't no game, so don't go no further, yeah. Don't make me ashamed. Don't make this no harder, yeah. When we all alone, and we getting it on, making love to me, so desperately, yeah. So don't make it seem that you friends with me, that you wanna be so close to me. I wanna get to the truth. Don't make it seem like I'm just messing with you. Just think about what we've been doing before. I gotta know, girl, if you want us some more. 'Cause we are lovers, not friends. Don't get it twisted, I'm your man. Oh girl, it's clear. It seems like you can't get enough, yeah. It seems like you can't get enough, It seems like you can't get enough, Lovers, not friends. Don't get it twisted, I'm your man. Oh girl, it's clear. It seems like you can't get enough, yeah.
Good evening and welcome to Trendz, ushered in by the fantastic sounds and vocals of Harrison Crump. This is where to find all your showbiz news, interviews and performances weekly on the SABC News channel. As I'm sure you all have come to know by now, my name is Refil Wemwilwa, but in case you didn't know, journey with me as we go into your leading Trendz headlines for this week. A one-of-its-kind pop-up bar in the cultural hub of Joburg is offering a chilled, cozy space for creatives to meet and explore. And if magic is your kind of thing, then a first-of-its-kind SA TV series is set to keep you astonished, entertained and glued to your screens. Now, our next story, you heard him when you opened the show, and in case you need a reintroduction, his name is Harrison Crump, internationally acclaimed deep house DJ and vocalist and producer who has worked with an incredible amount of talented artists in his roles as a songwriter, vocalist and producer, locally and internationally, and also appearing on a plethora of internationally respected labels. Yeah. Straight out of Chi-Town.
Yeah,
welcome to Trendz, Harrison.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Lovely having you here.
Great,
and I mean, you spend quite a lot of time in South Africa though, right? So
yes.
Do you live basically a double life in Chicago as well as in South Africa?
Yeah, you can say I live here,
Yeah.
because I'm mostly here 8 months out of a year, so yeah, you can
Sure.
say that. Yeah, I'm
Making
a local
music.
now.
Yeah, you're one of the guys,
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it's been an incredible career that you've had, working with, everybody and anybody. You've worked with the likes of Diddy, you've worked with the likes of Double HP,
Yeah.
So it's both. And which country, is that even a fair question to say, what country do you enjoy, the pool of talent the most in?
Oh man, it's great to be here. It's talented people here, it's talented people in the States. But it really doesn't matter what country, it's just about that particular person, you're working with and getting that vibe in the studio with them, and them wanting to make it music and you wanting to make it music,
Sure.
That's what it's all about.
Okay, and the track that you performed when you started the show, I mean, incredible track.
Thank
Congratulations,
you.
That's just come out. Is that going to be part of an album or is it a single that you've just released?
Oh, definitely. That's my first single, Can't Get Enough, off Sony, and definitely look out for the album in April, and a couple other singles to follow after this one as well.
Okay,
Yeah.
and is this entirely produced by yourself? Because we know that you produce for a lot of other people.
Yeah.
So on this project, just take us through the process in terms of getting it all together.
Well, definitely, yeah. I was working on the track, and then I had someone else come in and help me do a little bit this and that. next level they are. And I just put it together and just started writing, and then just mixed it and mastered it, and it was there. It took some time, you know. It's a song about, you know, a woman that wants to be with you, but when she was with her friends, she don't know you anymore.
She act like she don't know you, yeah.
So yeah, you know, I had to switch it around for the man than for the woman, you know, because it sometimes happens for the woman, not for the man.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, and who have you worked with as well on this album?
Well, basically, a new track with WHP, the Infinite Boys, maybe Cooley Channel on this, Lula Cafe. Yeah, a couple of people from here I got on the track as well.
Okay,
Yeah.
wow. And just talking about, you know, the energy between you and WHP. I mean, he's my homeboy. He's my brother, actually.
Is it? All right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And earlier this year for the Metros, So Amazing, a track that you worked with him on, as well as Asheru and Omar. Incredible, beautiful track.
Thank
and
you.
that was nominated. Congratulations. So, you know, clearly there's something that happens when you guys are in studio that just creates magic.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? When you work with someone that knows what they want to do, and you guys go in there and you leave all the outside things that's going on in your life alone,
Yeah.
and you just do the music when you're in the studio.
Yeah.
That's how you create good music, you know.
Timeless music as well.
Yeah, timeless music,
Yeah.
not just a hit, but a
Yeah.
classic.
All right.
You know, that's what I always want to make, classics, and not hits, classics.
Fantastic. And so other than putting out the album, is there anything else that you're busy with right now?
A lot of things, but can't say at the moment. But yeah, definitely the music thing comes first, you know, because that what makes everything fall in from there, you know. So just look out for the album, definitely in April.
Okay,
And,
okay. And
yeah.
just, you're from Chicago, and I just have to throw this in as a quick last question.
Yeah.
Spike Lee's docu Chirac has just come out, you know, controversial, very in your face, very powerful as well. Just what are your thoughts on that?
Well, you know, the people got opinions about different situations, and I think it's all about how you look at the situation and how you grew up and where you're from, and then you go from there and you take that in for what Spike Lee has done, because he's done a lot of great work and a lot of great movies as well. So each director always goes a different route during the time in their life, so you just have to accept that.
Okay, so for you personally, do you agree with his stance or not?
I don't know. I'm in between. I'm an in between guy.
Yeah, you're in between guy. Okay, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
Thank you so very much, Harrison Crump. We wish you all the success, and
Yeah.
we look forward to, you know, getting more awards and seeing you out there and performing throughout, you know, the years to come.
Okay, great.
It's been a pleasure having you on Trendz.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. Now don't go anywhere. We return shortly with more faces and voices of local and international showbiz. Welcome back, you're tuned into Trendz. Now, a one-of-its-kind pop-up bar in the cultural hub of Joburg and Braamfontein is attracting music lovers from all walks of life. The bar offers a chilled, cozy space for creatives to meet and explore the unique experiences through sounds. Now, the Next Level bar contains workshops, level gaming, and a new concept of edible music. Now, this I'm sure you'd love to see.
The idea of tasting music is one that creates an awkward thought of how we perceive our five senses. However, this bar is one that is not afraid to make us think outside the box by making those open-minded individuals create music through their taste buds.
It's definitely a next level experience for both consumers and for us, actually. I mean, it's never been done before. It's something that's quite fresh and new and really exciting. So we, you know, when we heard about this artistic endeavor to try and you know, take on this challenge, we're really excited to sort of partner with Nick at Fever Trails and Heineken to do this. It's been an amazing experience. We've learned a lot. There were a lot of learnings through the whole process, because it's not just today. You know, the whole lot of work went into it to get to this point. And Nick did an amazing job of actually creating these amazing landscapes that create food into music that you can hear and listen to. And enjoy. So we partnered with Fever Trails, so Nick from Fever Trails and Heineken obviously, to create edible music. So what we're trying to do is take the consumer experience, measure the consumer experience of eating different food explosions really, and convert that into a musical landscape. So it's a bit of both. So we've got one person who eats the food, and they through their brainwaves they create music. We've got another person who also eats the same food, but they actually create a visual representation of what's going on in their brain. So like one's kind of like the DJ and the other one's the VJ.
The Electroencephalography is a measuring object that measures the electrical activities on the surface of the scalp. This device reads the voltage fluctuations that produce ionic currents which flows from the neutrons of the brain. This neural sense is able to process the frequency data into metrics that transmit the indicators of memorability, emotional arousal, and an appetite appeal.
Well, the way I understood it was that when you have a strong taste in your mouth, which all of those were, you know, they were like quite sour, the lime and sipping beer the whole time too, it creates brain activity because you're being stimulated, and those devices on our head, I believe, could pick up the brain activity. So the more that was going on in your brain, the more intense the music was.
Basically, the headgear gauges neural activity, so electric impulses in the brain, and using that information, which is output by this machine as numbers, we use those numbers and turn them into musical values. It was guided by the food, essentially, what kind of I felt. The waffly thing, I had sort of an idea for, I don't know, waffles always make me think of LA beat scene, Mind Design, Flying Lotus, so there was that kind of thing. Then the Miracle Berry, which comes from West Africa, used the kora as the main instrument. Yeah, so each of these things, and like the Heineken thing, which is a party vibe, had a house song.
I found it very interesting. To be honest, I came here because I heard we could get free beer. So I was drawn in, and I was expecting marketing gimmicks, but it was a very, very interesting experience. I mean, I already know the musician, Nicholas van Reenen, and he's a fantastic musician, and it's an incredible idea. Firstly, just making music with that, and then all of the food was really, really awesome too. It was like interesting taste experience, interesting music, so yeah, it was cool.
If you want to experience the coolest bar in Jozi, go to Smith Service Street in Braamfontein tomorrow to catch the final leg of the Next Level Bar with edible music.
What an interesting concept. Now, with international interest in African art often centered on works from West and Central Africa, the art of East Africa can sometimes be overlooked, but a new exhibition in the American capital is trying to change that. The Indian Ocean Experience at the Smithsonian National Museum of African Art in Washington, D.C. is covering a rare collection of works originating from Oman and the Swahili coast. Our correspondent Kate Fisher was there.
From Oman, silver jewellery, crafted to make sounds while the wearer walks, an ornate coffee pot. And then to Tanzania, a chest in wood, iron and brass, which would have been a suitcase from the days when large sailing boats followed the annual monsoons, bringing goods to East Africa from the Arabian Peninsula. The collection's curator says that these beautifully crafted, everyday items help to bring the heritage of this part of Africa to life.
It's very decorative. There is just a wealth of surface decoration, of intricate patterns that form whole layerings of shadow and texture.
This jewellery is functional as well as stylish, often including a case to keep verses of the Quran close to the heart. Bangles and necklaces with jangling pendants or chains, created so that they make a sound as the wearer moves.
And if you also notice, they would sound nice because you have here the bells and the rattles, and so it's really quite remarkable.
With such beautiful objects originating from the east of the continent, why is so much focus often put on the art from other parts of Africa?
I think there's always been a tendency not to think of it as part of Africa, to think of it as being foreign, that somehow that these things came, that the trade items came in, or that there was an exchange of materials, but that it really didn't become part of the local culture, that's really wrong.
Bryna and her team are hoping that this exhibition at America's National Museum of African Art will help to change some of those views. This collection gives a glimpse of the skill and ingenuity of the artisans of the Swahili coast. But the museum knows there's a lot more to tell, so they're making a documentary which will explore the gems of this Indian Ocean coastline even further. It'll be premiered next year. Kate Fisher, SABC News, Washington.
Thank you, Kate Fisher. Now, this past weekend saw the closing of the Comedy Central International Comedy Festival. Roastmaster General Jeff Ross hosted a gala roast on Friday where South African comedians went up against each other to have a one man or woman emerge victorious. We caught up with Jeff on the red carpet.
I never dreamed there would be roasting in Africa. This is a dream come true for me, because when I started roasting people, it was a lost art, and now it's everywhere. I'm so happy. It comes from a place of love and affection, and you have to have thick skin and a good sense of humor. And so far, everyone I've met in Africa, in South Africa, has had a great sense of humor, except one cab driver who was kind of... If it doesn't offend somebody somewhere, it's probably not funny. So you try to push but not break, you know? And I try to pick targets that are that have a good sense of humor. I'm going to roast the audience. People from Joburg are going to come on stage and get roasted. Hopefully no one will make fun of my shirt. You know what was interesting? Nelson Mandela used to wear a shirt with my picture on it.
We also caught up with some of the local comedy greats who gave us their thoughts on the industry.
It's exploded, and I remember getting dressed in toilets in bars in Port Shepstone and putting my clothes on for the show, and now look, there's a red carpet, so it's just exploded, and that's very cool. And there's lots of different types of original South African comedy, which is very exciting for everyone.
I think it's gone phenomenally. It's amazing, and there's people out there doing big things for us. You know, there's a basket mouth representing Africa as a whole. You know, and you get South African acts to go over there. People like Trevor Noah putting us on the map. It's all amazing, yeah.
Look at it. Look what's happening. This thing, it's exploding. We're in the golden era. We're in that kind of thing. Certain forefathers of ours, certain Trevors, you must know them, have smashed through the ceiling, and then we're all crawling up, etc., off their footsteps. So it's burgeoning. It's amazing. Look, it's exploding. With channels like this backing us, etc., it's only going to go to the roof. We're much better. We're the funniest nation on the planet because of all the trouble we've had.
Comedy has grown, obviously, because seeing ourselves in our country performing with international acts and acts from the continent, it just brings so much hope that definitely we're going to a right direction. It makes one feel like we are part of a serious movement, because there was no comment and now there's a comment. That's a vibe.
In a first of its kind for South African television, the TV series Magic with Mo follows a similar format to other popular international TV magic shows, with one exception. The show includes an uplifting and inspirational element where Mo Magic engages with guests, asking them about their careers and to share their unique inspirational message with viewers. The show is set to wow, entertain and inspire audiences. And of course, Trendz caught up with the magician in efforts to try get some insider secrets into the world of magic. Not quite sure if Eloise managed.
Hi Trendz, I'm here with SABC3's Mo Magic. He's going to show us some tricks, and I'm really super nervous, but he's going to show us what he has. So here we go.
Eloise, I have here a pack of cards. Now, for the close-up magician, this is probably the most popular prop. And are you familiar with cards?
I'm familiar with cards.
Good. For those viewers out there who are not, each pack of cards has 52 different cards and 2 jokers. So there's 54 cards in total. Now, if I were to exclude the jokers, that would leave us with 52 cards. Now I want you to think of just one card. Right, so I have the cards here. Think of one card. Do you have one card in mind?
I have one card.
Okay, so I'm hoping that it's not the bottom card, which is the 8,
no,
and the top card, which is the joke. I said exclude the jokers, right?
Yes.
Do you have that card in mind?
I have a card.
Okay, good. Now, I also have here a tissue and a coin. We'll take the coin and the tissue. Mm-hmm. Now, I would like you to personalize the coin. So would you put your initials on the coin for me? Yeah. There we go. And what does it say?
EDS.
EDS. I'm going to show that to the camera. There we go. EDS. One coin in the entire world that has your initials on it. Now, in addition, we will use the cards with this. Watch this. I'm going to basically place this over the deck.
Okay.
Can you see that?
I can see that.
You've got one card in your mind.
One card.
Just think of it. Keep thinking of it.
Okay.
Right? Watch the deck. You see, it's made a hole
Yes.
through all these cards.
Oh my word.
And it stopped on the back of one card.
Yes.
Right here. I asked you to think of one card. What was the card you had in mind?
7 of diamonds.
Say again?
7 of diamonds.
7 of diamonds.
Yes. No! That was my card.
My passion for magic began at university whilst I was studying towards my engineering degree. There I was a university student, questioning his path in life, and I started attending personal development courses. I learned that we could choose the quality of life that we wanted for ourselves. So I made it an intention to the universe to find my path. And one night I was sitting with my best friend. We were working on our electronic design project. He said, let's take a break, put the TV on, I'll put the kettle on. And I put the television on. It was SABC 3. I remember seeing David Blaine. And I'd seen the show 3 years prior, but had dismissed it as mere camera tricks. But that night, something inside me shifted. It was a knowing. I knew there and then that this was what I wanted to do, the art of magic. So it started that night, and it just evolved from a spark to a passion, part-time career. And 6.5 years ago, I resigned from my engineering career to do this full time, and here I am.
Incredible story inspired by the magician himself, David Blaine. Who would have thought somebody would change careers from engineering to magic? Well, there you have it, and keep watching for that show, Moments with Mo. Now stay tuned, Trendz is back after the break. Welcome back. Nelson Mandela's life was an inspiration for people far beyond South Africa, as we of course all know. In Berlin, Germany, organizers held a tribute benefit concert to honor his legacy on the day of his passing on the 5th of December, with South African musicians without a doubt on the lineup as well.
In Berlin, a night of music and dancing to honor the memory of Nelson Mandela. But the focus was on much more than just having a good time. It was about the man who inspired a nation and ultimately the world.
If anything we've learned from Nelson Mandela, one thing is clear, that you're going to have to put it all on the line in some way to achieve that goal of peace, freedom, and justice.
This is the second year of the gathering, for which just about everyone, including the artists, essentially donate their time. The Senegalese organizer, who spent years in South Africa before moving to Berlin, calls the effort the Ubuntu Initiative, after the Southern African idea of a universal bond.
Why not to create this concept, Ubuntu with the artists, with friends, who can really join us and promote music in general, because music doesn't have borders.
The band Satori traveled all the way from Johannesburg to play, joining 8 other acts from diverse backgrounds. Their saxophone player believes that Mandela's approach is needed now more than ever.
You can look anywhere, there's some conflict and some violence and some hatred happening anywhere, and I think that soft diplomacy and the willingness to negotiate up until the end that Mandela had and that Mandela brought to the world is sorely lacking.
Other gatherings took place throughout the world to honor the leader known for his lifelong struggle and ultimate triumph against the apartheid government of South Africa. It's been 2 years now since Nelson Mandela has been gone. But with events like these taking place in Berlin and around the world, it's clear that he's far from forgotten. Ira Spitzer, SABC News, Berlin.
Now, Trendz took to the streets to find out what people remember most about Nelson Mandela 2 years after his passing.
I did a show in a jail in the States, and what's amazing is that so many people get corrupted and polluted when they're in jail. But Nelson Mandela is an inspiration because he used his time in jail to completely change who he was. He became Morgan Freeman, the greatest actor of our generation.
Most of us, we
we took Mandela for granted, especially those of us who were younger. And then after him was Thabo Mbeki, and we kind of took him for granted. And now we got Jacob Zuma. So I think when we look at Mandela's legacy and what he gave us, forgiveness, taught us forgiveness, that's the biggest thing we can take from him, because when you've finished in this earth and you've left the earth, what will people remember about you the most? And I think what he leaves us with is forgiving each other, and that's important. So even tonight at the Comedy Central, they'll be roasting each other. When we walk off the stage, as long as we're all forgiving each other, Mandela lives on.
As South Africans, we should look at what he's done for the country and for the world, remember him, and move forward looking at how we each can make the country the best it can be.
And now prominent folk song arranger and choral music composer and director Professor Mzilikazi Khumalo received an honorary doctorate in music from Wits University earlier this week. Professor Khumalo is a colossal figure in South Africa's academic, cultural and public landscape, effortlessly moving across the spheres of scholarship, cultural production and social life. His most popular compositions include the likes of Izibongo Zikashaka and the first African opera, Ushaka and Princess Magogo. Professor Mzilikazi Khumalo is currently Emeritus Professor at Wits after a long academic career where he was acknowledged as an authority in African languages and literature. Now, the annual Zwagala Festival is an event designed to encourage and highlight the work of community theatre groups and give their productions a chance to be staged professionally at the historic Market Theatre. This year sees a jam-packed program of performances drawn from various regions in Gauteng, supported by the Department of Arts and Culture's incubation program to boost the level of fresh young talent in the performing arts. I'm now joined by Sipho Mawale and Themba Mkhoma in studio. Welcome to Trendz, gentlemen.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
This
for having us.
program of the Zwagala Festival, just tell us about the inception of this and just the origins that founded this incredible festival.
Okay, the young Pani Simon and John Carney in 1989 saw a reason to establish this program, responding to the needs, mostly from the townships, whereby the young wanted to do a space where they can present their work and be helped in terms of acting, directing, script writing.
And that's the thing, right? Many youth in the townships have that spark, have that creativity, but of course, outlets to channel this is always a problem.
Yes, definitely, because when you look at the amount of talent that we have in our townships, the place that we are currently having now at the Market Theatre now, Sipho and I were saying that we can't believe that these young people are capable of putting such work on stage, and we were saying, even if we wanted to give them a professional run or a professional season, because the work is well cooked, the challenge is always there are no platforms for young people to showcase their talent. So this festival offers that kind of a platform for
And when it comes to funding is always a big thing, because you can obviously get your friends, your colleagues, your family to stage a production with you, but without funds, we know that the reality is that, you know, that production is not going anywhere. So is there a segment of this festival, I mean, it's been running for over 2 decades, that channels specifically the business of how to actually get yourselves up off the ground with regards to finances?
There's a word called budget, and that name, whenever it's used, it's not a good word.
No, but it's a good word. Why do you say that?
Because everybody whom we approach is going to tell you that our budget are tight.
Okay.
And it makes it difficult for the youngsters to realize their dream and their talent.
Okay,
but we're fortunate enough to get to this point where we are able to be helped. More especially, it came the time when we really needed it. And with their money, we're doing some good work.
All right. And just mentorship with regards to playwrights who are well-known and revered, who've had productions at the Market Theatre. Who was part of the Zwagala Festival lineup who, you know, takes on the youngsters and teaches them a thing or two and shares their pearls of wisdom?
Utemba is one of the mentors. A number of them that some come from universities from South Africa, and some are the product of the community, well, theatre community. The practitioners.
All right. And I mean, lately, you know, with the Departments of Arts and Culture, they're actually doing quite a bit for the arts and just promoting and getting people, you know, on platforms that are visible. And so with this incubation program, just how have you seen a difference since it came on board? Because I assume initially when this started, the incubation program wasn't there.
Okay. The difference since they've come on board is that we're able to identify the problem, which was scripts, which were the directing. Then we have phases whereby we only go to the director and the author to make sure that we develop the script. And after that phase, we then go to directing, design, and performance. That is why we're having some unbelievable productions at the moment.
And just talking about previous years, where have people who have been part of this festival exhibited their work?
Well, because we have these two festivals that happen every year, the annual Community Theatre Festival and Zwagala. So that's the platform. But interestingly, the work that was developed in Zwagala Festival, you see it in other spaces. We've seen other work that were performed in other theatres around that started from our program. But as I've already said, there isn't much platforms for these productions to be performed. Because now we have 10 productions, and when you look at the quality of this work, it's quality that is of the standard that we expect in the theatre.
Yes.
So now you ask yourself, who's going to produce these 10 productions at the same time? Where institution like ours, Market Theatre, where we already have the lineup of the productions that are going to be staged from this year and next year. So there isn't that much space for these productions to be
But with a
staged.
festival like this, of course, word is getting out. I mean, you gentlemen are here today to actually let people know, and people who are interested in theatre, you know, to say there is a festival called the Zwagala Festival, and it's running. And yeah, this is going to be a great festival where, coming into 2016, the Market Theatre also celebrates 40 years. Thank you so very much, gentlemen.
It's our pleasure.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Now, Trendz went to the Market Theatre to see one of the productions from the Zwagala Festival, and it's titled The Lesson.
Mama, what is that? It's assaulting someone in public. I want to talk about it.
Zwagala Festival, like a festival ends like each and every year. So like for me, like this year, like it's my first time, like as a director, ngena go Zwagala Festival. So yeah. This year we were like in nama auditions, so by choose like a group I-10 for your top 10. Yeah, so just space angena kanjalo, then before you wanna like very space I prepare, because when it comes to like the script, let's say either let's say our script engbenga as well like go temba mkoma. So say like me is funda like kwaba script like I say connect like in life yam, because ngathi ngikhule like ngi artist like kakhulu like mina ndispansula like ngijayiva, so ngithe like mengibe ngikhula ngaba like ku theater yeah. So from lapho space starter, and then like thina senza like ngendlela yethu as like a director ngibona like a vision like a different like in script. So yeah, that's why I'm going to have an interest in like his direct.
Sikhula ukuthi abafuni endlini isibhekelele iTV yamthola, mara besinobuye nje sizitshontshe bedlala igeneration yazo ikhobe ngembobo yamthola, because ufuna ukubona yena usibusiso Dlomo. So ungena khona yibe ufuna ukufana nabo labo bantu sinathi sibabongam la nani, because yiba abantu ukuthi bas-motivate, bas-inspire Grand Sharp, siyasithanda sponsor.
It's about like labafana laba artist bahlala bayi3 benza visual art so ngathini kunalo munye bathi ushosholoza like umuntu like obona like ama wrong like abangani bayenzayo, and then like u try like ukuthi awalights every time ukuthi no guys like bhekana ukuthi into like enizenzayo like mina ngifuna ukuthi zihambe like yabo ngendlela straight yabo. So now because of money like I'm outcast abamameli yabona, so kwenza ukuthi mayibona bayenza like ama decisions are wrong, and then ushosholoza like umuntu ngathini ufuna like kuba right life yabo. So nje kuba like ne sudden change ukuthi manje abe nelakhe abambe ilotho, and then abangani bakhe maybe semcoshile bangazi ukuthi ubambe ilotho, and then yabo ba realize sebamcoshile ukuthi ubambe ilotho, and then uyabatshela ukuthi no akumelanga like ngithande umuntu for izinto yabo for izinto anazo bame nanoma ngana next.
Stay tuned. After the break, we have fashion and film. There's more to come on Trendz. Welcome back. The National Museum of Swaziland is home to some of the most treasured Swazi artifacts. Regarded as one of the Swazi Kingdom's greatest attractions, the museum, built 43 years ago, displays a range of topics including vegetation types, animal displays, aquatic species, and a representation of the nation's well-known Mantenga Falls.
Swaziland is a small landlocked kingdom in southern Africa. Rich in culture, it also has a deep, fascinating history. Annual traditional festivals have attracted large numbers of people from different parts of the world. Also of great importance are the art and craft outlets and traditional markets, like the Swaziland National Museum, which are certainly some of the kingdom's greatest attractions. Gqebile Mavuso, who is the educational facilitator at this museum, took us through what the museum really preserves.
Our museum preserves the heritage of our nation. By that we mean we keep the history of Swaziland. Our heritage means everything from birth of a child, growing up, health and culture. You will find those things here.
This museum is home to some of the most fascinating Swazi artifacts. Beyond that, it also provides informal employment to mostly rural women who rely on handcraft activities to earn a living.
When we develop our language, our culture, our lifestyle, and the way we do things, we don't leave behind our customs.
The museum highlights the close relationship between the Swazi people and nature and features, amongst other things, interesting exhibits. It displays a range of topics including vegetation types, numerous animal displays, and a representation of the nation's well-known Mantenga Falls. The museum is located in the royal area nearby to the Houses of Parliament, which was built in 1972 and is run by the Swaziland National Trust Commission.
Now, film director Rehad Desai's critically acclaimed Minus Shot Down was screened last night at the Ster-Kinekor Theatre in Rosebank in honor of the film's international Emmy win. Congratulations. Now, the film takes a look at the events that led up to the massacre in Marikana. Trendz caught up with Desai at the screening, but first, here's a reminder with the trailer.
The life of a black person in Africa is so cheap. Asifuni gazi elizophalala, kodwa sifuna izinkinga zenu nemifuzo yenu bayitholakale Congress.
Kazi funa umkhathaze kureza siphendula ngemali esifunayo. Kuphela. Sikwazi ukufika emsebenzini. Kodwa engakasiphenduli imali esifunayo. Asizisuka apha. Singazisuswa ngabo lamaphoyisa lapha.
Why the use of police force armed to the teeth against miners who were not occupying mining property or territory? We're not occupying any strategic point. We're not blocking the national highway or any minor road.
I said, all this is in God's hands. I'm a mortal man. Those are my words. I'm a mortal man. I still remember vividly the face of those workers.
Whatever happened represents the best of responsible policy.
It's an affirmation for South African storytelling, but most important, and myself of course, but most importantly this is a story of the mine workers of Marikana, the victims of this massacre, and the families who've left behind. There are hundreds of people, and hundreds of injured and arrested, and a score or so still remain charged. Therefore, the film remains very contemporary.
Indeed, a moving piece of work. Be sure to see it anywhere you can soon. Congratulations to Rehat Desai and the team. Now, the Unisa Art Exhibition is currently showcasing some of its most flamboyant artworks from its students. The exhibition, which runs until the end of January 2016, is regarded as a launchpad for the artists into the creative and many times very difficult world of the arts.
What the Biennale is to the international art scene, the annual graduate exhibition is to an art department. And the body of works consists of an eclectic choice of art pieces, from video installations, gaming, collages, and paintings, all projecting different meaning to different people.
There's no feel in art is that it's social commentary for me personally, and I hope to continue with my studies at Unisa and then eventually make art that can change the world, hopefully.
When it comes to the finest in the South African art scene and sculptures, the Unisa Art Gallery in Tshwane has made a name for itself as a venue that knows what its audience wants.
Students kind of build a body of work throughout the year. It's a supervised process where they research an idea. And here we've got a number of research bodies of work that include migration, that include class, that include race, that include femininity, that include people in space. So it's a whole body of work that is researched on contemporary issues. And these issues, each student kind of deals with on a personal basis. Yeah. So they find solutions and problems and work around that.
Some artworks like the one titled My Journey by Kirsty Fletchers began through reading works such as Frantz Fanon's book Black Skin and White Mask, written in 1989. The artwork interrogates and questions what we regard as normal to realize its abnormality.
Different criteria that they follow, but as a curator, I don't interfere with that space and processes. My main concern is what they bring here as the final product and the presentation of that. It should be presented in such a way that is very innovative, cutting edge, and also in a way that is interactive. If you see the works that you see here, it's not like your traditional painting on the wall. You have video works, you have gaming, you have installations, you have things hanging from the wall. For me and this gallery, I want this gallery to be more of an experimental space that challenges even the notes, the normal notes of presentation. Because who said that paintings should be straight-faced on the wall in a two-dimensional manner? So I want us to allow students to experiment, to be excited about the space, and that's where I come in.
The exhibition has lived to its expectations, and the resident artists have definitely outdone themselves. The artworks are also on sale to the public.
And so it's that time of the year where most provinces in the country have been experiencing scorching temperatures. Now, with holidays officially kicking in, many will be headed to the beach or even just chilling by the poolside. And so our fashion segment today is with a lady who, because of the frustration of not being able to find suitable and pretty swimwear flattering for her body type, founded Thursday's Swimwear and Lingerie. Welcome, Shauna McDonald.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Pleasure having you here. So let's talk about, your struggles and your frustrations that led to Thursdays.
So basically, when I was a teenager, I developed boobs, as you do, and I really couldn't find anything that was youthful, that fit my student budget, that I didn't pop out of, and I got really depressed about my body. Yeah. And I didn't even have that big boobs. I think I had a double D cup.
Yeah.
And
the frustrating thing when you're growing up, some, girls are forced to then wear 2 bras or, a size that's obviously wrong for them. And it's actually very frustrating, as you say.
Exactly. And a lot of people do wear the wrong size because instead of wearing an ugly granny bra, which fits them, they'd rather squish into something that looks pretty that their friends are wearing. Yeah. And then they're not embarrassed by. So Thursdays is there basically to fill that gap and to create beautiful swimwear and lingerie for girls that are above a C cup. So it's not a plus size brand, it's just for girls of all shapes that happen to have bigger boobs.
Okay, and so has it been basically an incubation this year that you've been getting everything up and running, your factory, everything, where's that based, how's that going?
Yeah, so we're still in the foundation phase. It is launching in 2016. So if you go to the website, which is thursdays.co.za, you can leave your details and you'll be the first to know when we do launch. We are proudly South African. We have a manufacturer based in Cape Town.
Great.
So everything is designed, manufactured, as many materials as possible are sourced from South Africa to try and help this textile industry in the country.
Fantastic. And I mean, the ladies and the models that you brought here into studio today, I see gorgeous pieces. One is a fuller piece, a one piece, and the other is a bikini. Just take us through that. And the fabrics, let's talk about the quality, because I know that's something that you're very, very, pedantic about in terms of quality must be, up to standard.
Exactly. Quality is very important. And the swimwear that we've got here today, they're 2 lycra pieces. Basically, what I've done is I've used darker colors to try and draw the attention away from your stomach and stuff, because sometimes people are not very comfortable always in swimwear, and you want to try and bring the attention up to the face. So animal prints are very in. We've got the tropical zebra, which Michelle is in, and we've got the meowsit, which Lorato is in.
Yeah. Okay.
We can have fun with the name.
Yes. And any modifications that one can make to, with straps or anything of the sort?
So basically, when you've got bigger boobs and you're looking at buying swimwear, you want to buy something with an underwire support, because it is performing the function of a bra. Also, the straps, they're thicker than normal straps. I don't know if you've noticed, a lot of swimwear have halter necks.
Yes.
If you've got bigger boobs, it really does put a lot of pressure on your neck.
Yeah, the strain, because you have to really tie it up quite tightly so that, the boobs then don't sag.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And another thing that causes a problem with that is that it loses its stretch. So these are adjustable straps. You can make them tighter so they last longer, your whole swimsuit. And also they are removable.
Okay.
So if you want to have a perfect tan, then you can take the straps off and you can lie on the beach. Even the full costume, if you turn around at the back, you can undo it and you can have a whole open back so that you don't have any funny tan lines. Because another thing with, if you've got bigger boobs, you've got to wear supportive things, which means you've got thick lines when you've tanned, which is so annoying when you're wearing normal clothes.
Oh my gosh, I hear you there, Shona. And I mean, clearly you've thought about this, you've experienced it, been there, done that, worn the t-shirt, and now we have this incredible range. I look forward to it. I hope Trendz will be invited to the launch, and we wish you great success with Thursdays.
Thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure having you here. And that's how we come to the end of the show for this week. Do be sure to join me again next week. The name is Refill Wemwilwa, and you are watching Trendz.